Tamaki steps out of her house and immediately encounters something bizarre. She notices that every passerby has the number 1 floating behind them, but her male colleague has a 2. He casually mentions that he's resigned from his job. It dawns on her that she's the only one who can see these numbers. To her confusion, after having dinner with a blind date, the number 3 appears behind him. What's going on? Just then, a handsome guy approaches her. Remember me? Yesterday, our hands accidentally touched, and I unintentionally passed on this superpower to you. You're seeing those numbers, right? They represent how many more times you'll meet that person in your life. If someone has a 1, it means you'll never see them again. At this moment, Tamaki doesn't fully grasp what this ability truly means. When she meets her blind date again, his number changes to 2. Does that mean she only has one more chance to see him? Though she's not particularly into him, she wonders, what if she tries to change fate? Tamaki can see the numbers behind people. She waits outside the man's company, stops him, and arranges to have dinner together the next day. The man is thrilled, but his number still drops to 1. Sure enough, the next day, he ghosts her. Tamaki quickly asks a familiar restaurant owner about the mysterious handsome guy. Oh, you mean Seishiro? He's out shopping but will be back soon. When Tamaki tries to contact her blind date again, she realizes he's not only blocked her, but also posted on social media complaining about their date. This girl I met recently is so annoying. She's not my type, yet she had the nerve to ask me out. Now you believe me, right? Seishiro finally appears. The numbers only show up when you have fewer than 3 meetings left with someone. Soon you'll return to normal. Why not think about how to make the most of this ability? And just like that, a new perspective opens up. Tamaki can now see how many times she'll meet people. When selecting extras for a company project, she excludes anyone with a 1 behind them, quickly narrowing down the perfect candidates. She even uses her ability to try her luck at a big company interview. She's fully committed until she notices the interviewer's number is 1, and she immediately leaves. When meeting another blind date, as soon as she sees a number behind him, she knows the relationship won't last. Sure enough, he ends up calling her a nice person. She's figured it out. If she knows there's no future with someone, she can cut her losses and move on. But Seishiro remains silent. Strangers are one thing, but what about family? Tamaki gets a call from her father, who wants to meet. She's reluctant, venting to Seishiro about how her father cheated when she was young, and she's long since written him off. Seishiro doesn't say much, just recommends a BBQ place. But even the food can't ease the awkwardness. Tamaki resents her father. He keeps asking about her life, but she can't forgive him for his past betrayal. Then she sees the number 3 behind him. Only 3 meetings left. After the BBQ, her father hands her a mint from the restaurant. As he's about to leave, Tamaki suddenly asks, She goes on and on, urging him to take care of his health and get regular checkups. Her father is surprised, but visibly happy. At the end, Tamaki asks, Didn't you say you had something to tell me in Tokyo? Her father admits it was just an excuse. A wave of sadness washes over her as she watches his figure disappear into the distance. Seishiro, who's been observing, waits for her. They stroll and chat. After my father left, I lived with my grandma. Now I'm 30, still going on blind dates, hoping to find someone who'll always support me. Even if life is tough, I'll have the strength to keep going. Seishiro reaches for Tamaki's hand, but she turns away. Tamaki sees the number 3 behind her father. Even though she knows they only have 3 meetings left, she can't believe it. In this day and age with phones, can't we just call or text whenever we want? Seishiro disagrees. People rarely take the initiative to meet. They always think there'll be more chances. But in reality, goodbyes happen every day. They talk until dawn. Tamaki suddenly asks, If I'm with someone every day, does that mean the number won't decrease? Seishiro explains, Every time the sun rises, the number drops by 1. As he says this, he glances at Tamaki's back. Could it be that they only have 3 meetings left too? But Tamaki doesn't see a number behind him. Tamaki suddenly notices a number behind her best friend. After pressing her, her friend admits she's been saving for 2 years to study abroad and pursue her dreams. She kept it a secret to avoid upsetting Tamaki. Even if I quit my job, we can still meet any time, her friend says. Seeing the number, Tamaki finally understands what Seishiro meant. One day, Tamaki spots Seishiro acting suspiciously. Turns out, he accidentally passed his ability to a little boy. To calm the child, he explains everything. But now the boy knows he'll never see his favorite classmate again. The boy and girl sneak out of kindergarten, and Tamaki and Seishiro rush to catch up with them. The girl is about to move away, and the poor boy has to face this harsh reality at such a young age. Determined to help, Seishiro invites the boy to the restaurant where he works. Using the kitchen, they help the boy plan the perfect goodbye. The little boy is shocked to see the number 2 behind the girl. He blows hard, as if trying to blow away the unwelcome number. This will be their last meeting. The children work together to create a farewell gift. When the cake, symbolizing their friendship, is finally complete, everyone cheers with joy. After finishing the house-shaped cake, the boy says goodbye to the girl. Unaware of the finality of this moment, she hooks her pinky with his and says, only after seeing the boy successfully say goodbye does Tamaki feel at ease. Watching the heartbroken boy, Seishiro is filled with guilt. Even if they'll never meet again, believing they might is perhaps a happier thought. But Tamaki disagrees. Isn't it better to have a clean, decisive goodbye than to cling to false hope? My grandma always said, next time is like a monster. It doesn't exist. Seishiro chuckles at her words. Just as they arrive at the restaurant, Tamaki receives a call from a neighbor in her hometown. Tamaki's grandmother has been rushed to the hospital in an ambulance. It's too late to buy a train ticket, so Seishiro immediately drives her in the restaurant's van. Along the way, Tamaki is consumed by guilt. She had ignored her grandmother's last 2 calls because she couldn't stand her nagging. If Grandma was really calling for help, I'd live with this guilt forever. Seishiro holds her hand and tells her not to overthink it. When they arrive at the hospital, Tamaki rushes to her grandmother's bedside, calling out to her repeatedly. She has fallen down the stairs.
Urita.
Tamaki checks her grandmother's back. There's no number. She breathes a sigh of relief. But even though the remaining meetings aren't limited to 3, her grandmother will still pass away before her. If it weren't for Seishiro, Tamaki wouldn't have realized this. Unknowingly, her words give Seishiro courage. Being uncertain about the future is also a kind of happiness. So maybe I should try to believe in it too, to believe that I'll see you again someday. Tamaki is stunned. Do you see that we only have 3 meetings left? She asks.
3回じゃない。あなたと会える。
Seishiro was born with this ability, to see how many times he'll meet someone. One day, he noticed the number behind his grandmother had turned to 2, and soon after, they said their final goodbye. Later, he had to bid farewell to his first love. The pain of knowing these goodbyes in advance tormented him, so he locked away his heart. After graduating, he traveled to many cities, taking odd jobs. Whenever someone's number turned to 3, he would quit and move on. For years, he lived in isolation. Then he met Tamaki and saw the number 13 behind her. Over time, he fell in love with her. But now, their meetings are down to just 3. Facing the impending farewell, Seishiro becomes distant. When Tamaki tries to help him prep in the kitchen, he snaps at her, saying she's just getting in the way. Tamaki also sees the number behind Seishiro and realizes he's keeping his distance to avoid the pain of parting. But she's in love with him too. Sitting alone outside, she watches the cherry blossoms. Seishiro joins her. Why are you here? Tamaki asks, annoyed. Never mind, you're so calm. Seeing the numbers decrease every day and you can still face it. But in the next moment, Seishiro pulls her into a tight embrace. He confesses his feelings. Tamaki senses the pain he's been carrying. Then, Seishiro lets go and walks away. He can't be with her. Since Tamaki's grandmother is still recovering, Seishiro's boss comes to visit. That night, they stay at Tamaki's house. Seishiro and Tamaki are separated by a door. After saying goodnight, they close it firmly. After tonight, they'll only have 1 meeting left. The next morning, Tamaki decides to say a proper goodbye to Seishiro. But when she opens the door, he's gone. The restaurant owner tells her Seishiro has left, but he left her a letter. Tamaki grabs the letter and runs to the train station. At this moment, she realizes she's not someone who accepts fate. She wants to fight back, to keep the person she loves by her side. When she reaches the station, she sees Seishiro waiting for the train. But she hesitates, afraid that after this meeting, it will truly be goodbye. She opens the letter. Seishiro writes, I'll treasure our last meeting. Just the thought of reuniting with you someday fills me with hope for the future. As the train doors close, Seishiro disappears from her sight. Inside the envelope are some mints, a farewell gift from Seishiro. He hopes that every time she eats one, she'll remember him. The number behind Seishiro is now 1. Tamaki and he can only meet once more. 5 years later, Tamaki has built a successful career, married, and had a child. She's achieved her dream by 30. Now she can no longer see the numbers and lives happily every day. One day while driving, Tamaki suddenly slams on the brakes, startling her child. Her husband comforts the baby in the back seat. A van pulls up beside her. Tamaki instinctively looks over and is stunned. It's Seishiro. She can't believe it. This is life's unexpected surprise. She looks up and he's just as she remembers. Sensing someone's gaze, Seishiro turns and sees her. He's equally surprised. They exchange a smile. After this, it will truly be goodbye. This film is called The Last Three Times We'll Meet, a Japanese TV movie from 2020. The concept of seeing the number of remaining meetings is incredibly unique, and the reflections on life and relationships are deeply moving. I highly recommend watching the original film. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you next time.